job of our filmmakers kind of a thing. So like I've been fortunate to be working on films which are at the cutting edge of technology. So I've been in the constant persuasion of learning whatever the latest is happening and integrate in my work. So that's how these things have happened, sir.
Thanks to the conversation that we had yesterday evening. In fact, this actually, you're showering this light that when you were still a student in the institute and when you were actually interacting with your peers at that point of time, there was a huge, like you had marked your journey way ahead, and also how, as a student, when you really started thinking about your image until you met a director who had that sort of an epic vision. That bridging, like before you, I'm talking about the man part before the machine, and the human part before the VFX. And I understand that you have very intelligently used VFX to be a good tool for that. But then basically, first the information processing happens within the brain. So I'm just talking about your grand image making and your ideology of how you would create an original image.
Yeah. I was always been a fan of larger than life films. Like Banner was one film which I was like always fascinated. That I always like wanted to be a part of that film right from the time when I joined film school and all. But most of the my friends at filmmaking were more about human emotions and all kind of thing. Yeah, I truly believe that okay, human emotions are very important in any film. But somehow I was always pulled to like huge films. Like then I was introduced to Kurosawa. He also really made some wonderful films which were like larger than life. So it was always like I was somehow always fascinated, but I never knew whether I would get an opportunity to be a part of that kind of a films. So like then I started with a very small film called Aithe. It was done with a very meager. So I was like, yeah, I was like, okay, whatever opportunity I get, I should be true to it. So, but back of my mind, I was always like, okay, I want to do a bigger film kind of a thing was always there. So probably that desire actually kept pulling, and as they say, when you sincerely want it, the universe conspired for it. So probably that's how I ended up doing very, very larger than life films, probably India's biggest films at that point of time. So that's God's grace.
So I've been talking about the graphic novels that the childrens were exposed to at that point of time.
Chandamama and
Yeah, and there was this particular, production which used to come from Hyderabad, and it had this larger than life images. So, did you have any sort of that sort of a visual schooling which happened as a child or as an adolescent?
No, sir. Actually, like for entry into filmmaking itself was by accident. I never wanted to get into films or like wanted to get into any kind of thing. Majority of my family is into armed forces. Like my father was in the army, my cousins were in all the other air forces, and I wanted to get into administration.
That explains the action part.
I wanted to get into administration. I wanted to be a civil service guy. So I was preparing for my exams. So accidentally, like one of my friend wanted to join film school. So he bought my application, out the application, and he filled it for me and all. And it all happened by accident that I ended up there. But once I was in the film school, the first film which I saw was Red Beard by Akira Kurosawa. So till then I was not much aware of world cinema. So I was the biggest director for me was the Telugu directors like Raghavendra Rao or like Dasar Narayan Rao, Hindi Subhash Ghai, Raj Kapoor and all, Hindi Tamil Maniratnam, Shankar. So the moment I saw this film Red Beard, I was like, wow, there is another world altogether of how films or stories can be told. So that really fascinated me. And then and since I was just out of graduation and did not have any experience in the field of filmmaking, so that really helped me learn so many things because majority of my colleagues were all like either worked in the film industry or like they have done some small courses here and there, and then they joined the film school. So since that attitude of I don't know anything kind of a thing helped me to live up to the expectations of my peers and other things. So that really helped me understand it, because I started with a blank sheet kind of a thing. So whatever knowledge was available at the film school, I really like absorbed in the best possible way.
Jumping from that personal space into the midst of filming, normally the notion is that the cinematographer reads his way through the script to get into the image making, and then uses his device or apparatus to kind of start doing it. But then yesterday we were talking about the amount of time that a cinematographer or a director of photography uses to previse or pre-visualize the particular environment or the world that he intends to shoot, or particularly to say that before the algorithms actually start their work to implant that environment or the world behind on that green or blue screen. So how far do you engage yourself in that creative process of making your environment, that world? For example, in Baahubali, when you are coming from Magadira to Iga, when you come to Baahubali, the world of mythology, the majestic kingdom that you actually, the director had in mind, to be on the same page, what's the kind of effort that you actually took from your side to be part of that world? Did you have a contribution from your side as well?
The moment the story is done and I am part of any film, my association starts the moment the story is. And for films right from Magadira to Iga and Bahubali also, like we did extensive pre-productions, right from like what kind of a world it was. We even had a Bible written for us, which we did not show, like what kind of a political situation was there, what kind of a business was Maheshmati people doing, what kind of a business and what kind of environment was Anushka's kingdom was having. So we had everything written, even which we are not showing on screen. So for that, for us to, at least for the technicians who are involved, to understand exactly like what we want to show, how we want to show and all, so that we don't place anything out of the world into that kind of thing. So then like after once when we come to the visuals, like we did lots of research work in terms of watching our paintings and even watching lots of Hollywood films and other things, just for inspiration of okay, like how they did it, not to like okay they did it, so let us cut that, put it in our film kind of a thing. Try to like we saw Banner so many times, Troy so many times, Lord of the Rings so many times, because like we wanted to make something which Indians have not seen kind of a thing. That was a big challenge for us. Like we need to give like our Telugu cinema or Indian cinema. We want to take it to a next level. Like we had to break the barrier of language in India, which we did with Baahubali. So for that, the kind of extensive research work we did, and the best part was like we had so many concept artists. Few concept artists were doing the sketches of how the characters are going to be. Like for one image of Bahubali, we had like around 10 options of okay, how he should look, how his hair should be, how his beard should be, to how this costume should be, to how Anushka should look, or how Rana should look and all. So then how the whole Maheshmati kingdom should look, how Maheshmati is different from Kuntal Rajyam. So like what is the major difference? Like it has to be striking. So for every story wise, so whatever necessary, we exactly had a visual reference of how we want to do. So we had extensive concept arts and then every scene we used to take and do lots of storyboarding kind of a thing. So storyboarding is something which is essential, and a concept art is essential when you are doing larger than life VFX heavy film. Because when I say like okay, like as yesterday I was giving an example, like okay, when I say like I like water, so I want a bottle of water on the table. So that's a very ambiguous statement. Like I might like Evian water bottle, you might like Vedic water bottle, something. So we are on a different page. So when you start doing storyboarding, like we both are on the same page. Okay, like okay, then we can tell us, oh, not this bottle. I thought it was a different bottle, kind of a thing. So like that. So when you start doing storyboarding, everyone starts coming into the same page. So from there, we start taking it to the next level of filming or whatever is necessary for us, how we are to do and all this.
If you don't mind, sir, basically just wanted to revisit that particular sequence where Shivu, would want to escape from that little hamlet. If you remember, he is a normal guy, or a not normal guy in a realistic setting, and he has a challenge in front of him, which is like this water mountain or Nirmalai. So basically, that particular jumping that or climbing that mountain with that waterfall. So integrating the EFX into that cinematographic vision, coming into the thick of the topic. Can you just tell me how did you devise that particular thing? Because I'm sure you would have taken templates from Adirapalli to any n number of waterfalls that actually from Niagara to rainfalls to anything that might come. But that particular make believe kind of a space which you actually integrated. So how was that part done?
Actually, the first time when I met director Rajmouli for this film, so he had a concept art in mind. So he had a concept art of a waterfall with reference to how a man is in terms of size. So it was like the largest waterfall, scale-wise, largest waterfall ever existed, or it doesn't exist in the world. It is bigger than Victoria Falls and other things. So like that was thing like, okay, we are going to make a film which is visual. So for a cinematographer, see generally when director is telling a story, he will always tell like, okay, we are going to make an emotional film, action film, adventure film and all. Very rarely he comes up and tells to you that we are going to make a visual film. So when a director tells he's making a visual film, so obviously like as a cinematographer, you are like thrilled. So that was like music for my ears kind of a thing. Then that episode itself, we treated it like a feature film in a story by itself. It has a beginning, middle and an end. So like where he starts, what are the challenges he faces in climbing the mountain, then how he achieves it climbing the mountain. So it was broken down into minutest parts like so like for that we had as you told references of all the waterfalls, and like we did not want a very straight waterfall. So we wanted like, okay, like it's a 2-day, 3-day journey, the 3-day, 2-night journey to reach the top of the waterfalls. So now at every juncture, what are the important aspects which happen? What are the challenges he faces? So now we started off shooting in Karaikudi, like the waterfall. So then like we then shifted on to studio floors and other things. So we had we majorly shot in green screen. So, and we broke it down to small parts, where is the interactive part we put up as a set, but we also always knew that, okay, where is it coming on the waterfall? Like we had a very large sketch of waterfall, then we had marked, okay, this is the part we are going to do here, and this is what is necessary. Then enlarge it and make it into big and add the details into it. Then the challenge came of how are we going to shoot? Are we going to use it real? Are we going to integrate VFX? How much of VFX is going to be? How much of set is going to be? How much of action choreographers' work is going to be? So we just broke it down into the smallest detail, because that itself was like a big budget film for us kind of a thing. So we, to make it easy for everyone, we broke it down to the smallest detail. And I might have seen so many number of documentaries, to a number of still photographs of so many waterfalls and other things, and looks like, okay, like in the when it starts, what should be the look of the sequence? Because it is a completely a village which is down where like sunlight rarely reaches to top of the mountain, where it is like a little lot of snow and everything is there. So how the altitude changes. Audience might not be aware of it, but they might be aware of it, but when you're watching a movie, you're not sure. But as filmmakers, as cinematographers, you should be aware of, okay, what you're going to do. You should be, what I can say, trying to get the best possible thing in terms of everything, even logic and everything else has to be considered. Yeah, cinema, sometimes we break the logic. So, because we want to take him to a very fantasy world, so we did break logic so many times, but that was the approach key. Whatever we do, let us make it believable in terms of every aspect. So that's how the approach was.
Regarding the crew and all, basically this particular sequence logistically, like in terms of equipment and in terms of crew, in terms of this lifting up this person through this action sequence and So what was the major challenge that you would have faced at that point of time, which you believe that today, if you're doing the same sequence, what would have been the enhancement, in terms of technology? Is it there's some sort of an enhancement which has come to as a tool in your hand? For example, if you're shooting the same sequence today, what is that shift in technology that you would assess?
First of all, sir, the camera that time available was Arri Alexa. So that was my first film in digital camera. So probably I would today use Alexa 65 or LF large format camera kind of a thing. So that will be the first thing. Because for me, like whatever the best quality camera which is available as of now, I want to use according to me. They might be like everyone has preferences. Some might be fans of Sony, Red and all, but I am a big fan of Arri. So I would like to use the best possible camera. So at that point, or this point of time, yeah, this is the thing. And there's so much of technological shift which has happened, right? From we shot Baahubali in 2012. So 2012 to 12 years, there's so much of technological shift has happened. So obviously, I'll be trying to use all the things. Earlier, like keying and all those things were a little challenge, but now it has been easy. So probably like I would not be dying so much to light up my blue screen that in the most precise possible way, because that time it was necessary. But there's this time like keying and other things is not a big deal. So I would not break my head so much. I would be concentrating more about okay, how to make the shot more interesting, then worry about okay, if I shoot the shot like this, whether the my VFX guy will it be easy for him to key it, integrate it, and all those kind of things. So that way, like life is becoming easier every day. So it would have been like probably, and even so much of pre-visualization tools are available now compared to then. So now so much of AI is then. So we would have actually seen completely done the whole sequence in using some AI tool and seen it okay, like, and then broke it down and even asked the AI, give me a short breakdown of what we are going to do. So those kind of things which is possible now, which is not possible earlier. So we can make the machine do whatever pre-production works we were actually breaking our head down to use it for our thing, and then we can actually even decide and ask the VFX the machine to give a look of okay how it is going to. Then we can have probably 10 different looks, and then okay all the team sits together and think that okay this look is better, let us go for it. Then again we can still again ask the machine okay to do this look, so what is the best possible way of doing it. So machine will start answering us. So probably like it would have been a completely different ball game now if we had done Bahubali.
Yeah, this is one thing that we were actually telling, because you told me that a film which should have done for around 250 crores then would have cost more if done today, because at that point of time, resources and challenges versus resources versus challenges. Like when you're making the largest budget film in India at that point of time, the same film, of course, with the advancement of technology, costs more. So, so I just, like it was like kind of a paradox, like when technology actually helps you, why does it have an impact? Because is it because of the more options that you might have, the more things that you might use as a technician to, make it perfect?
Probably one is like technology is expensive, sir. If you are using the basis of the technology, basic levels, then it is much easier. But if you want to use the premium or advanced level of it, then it is like for example, it's like if you want to chat GPT, you want to use. If you want to use a free version, it is like you can use it. But if you want to use an advanced version, you have to pay $20 or $25 a month. So that is the thing. Like so, when you are making a film which is like extremely high budget and visual oriented, so you need to have the kind of machines which can deliver it, so which is like extremely great. Kind of hardware you have to use is really like unbelievable. So like then you have to get the best possible technicians who understand that, and there will be very few people who can do it. So they are more expensive actually. Like the people who can understand the machine and deliver it to you, they are little expensive kind of thing. So in that way, at every stage, and the audience actually like now the audience are aware of so many things. Earlier the awareness of the
Information was contained.
information was contained and people were not aware of so many things, but today like they are very much aware of all the things. So you want to give them the best, so then that becomes a challenge. You just want to tell one story with whatever way you want to do, then it is fine. But if you want to specifically tell a story in a certain way, then the challenge starts.
From Bahubali, I was actually just tracking the career. The film took, from the beginning to the conclusion, it took around that